Hello everyone and welcome to the Distinct Mastering YouTube channel. My name is Freddie. Today we're going to be talking about a cool plugin called Snapshot. For those of you that use analog hardware, this could be a game changer for you. For the last few months, I've been building out my analog mastering chain, and one of the units I have does not have digital recall. However, two of the units that I do have digital recall. So this could be a game-changing plugin for you if you need to recall settings and want to save it within your DAWs session. Before we get into the video, I just want to mention I have a new free download out with Lavelle Dupree as my alias Freshcobar. It's called Jump, and it's a flip of the House of Pain's Jump Around. If you want to check that out, links are down below so you can grab that. I also did start my memberships for 2025. If you guys want some more exclusive bonus content, make sure to check out the YouTube or the Patreon membership. Now let's get into my Pro Tools session and talk about the Snapshot plugin. Okay, so here is the Snapshot plugin, and as I explained, I did pick up an analog mastering chain. Little by little, I was collecting some pieces. And for the bonus content, I'm going to give you a worksheet that talks about how to collect some analog gear, what to buy, what to look for, what your first purchase should be, kind of like a how-to guide to picking your pieces and why, the theory behind picking your pieces. I'll also be making a video to go along with that, so make sure you check out the member-only area if you want that exclusive content. Now, just to briefly explain how in Pro Tools, what you can do is set up hardware inserts. And as you can see here, I have in my I/O, I have my hardware set up right here. And on my patch bays, I had a snake for outboard gear, which was easily able to just hook right in, and then I can just insert hardware as needed. If you're an Ableton user, you can use an external audio effect just like this, and you can set up the same thing. You could literally save these as racks. And if you're curious to know more about Ableton racks, I've never done a video on that. Drop me a comment down below and I'll consider doing that for you guys. Now back to Pro Tools real quick. If you want to learn how to set up the ins and outs, you need to go to your I/O. You need to go to your inserts right here, and here you can start naming them and they will show up in your Pro Tools sessions just like that, however you title them. Now, the one thing you have to remember when you're setting up these inserts is the insert point have to go in and out of the same insert point. You cannot mix and match. So you can't go out 9, 10 and come back into 11 and 12. If you go out 9, 10, it needs to come back into 9, 10. As you can see, this is where having a lot of hardware I/O can be very handy, because in my studio here, everything is modular. I have all my keyboards set up. I have hardware inserts set up for hardware gear. And it's very nice. All my mic pre's are normaled right onto either the room or right onto my patch bay, right into Pro Tools, right into the UA console. So it's very, very, very handy. Now, I want to mention one last thing for all you UAD users. You need to make sure you go to your I/O and make sure that your ins and outs are perfectly matched. I noticed that sometimes when the UAD console comes in as default, some of the ins and outs are mismatched. So that'll give you a problem when you're trying to set up this kind of hybrid analog digital setup. Now, I gotta say, some of you might be wondering, well, why didn't you have analog gear before? I obviously was doing a lot of my work with plugins. There's pros and cons to having analog gear. For example, now I can't just bounce my stuff. I have to print it. So I'm mainly focusing on using the analog gear when either recording on the way in, and I can easily get into that through the patch bays, or when I'm doing my mastering. When producing, I'm not really using the analog gear much. I could if I want to, though. That's the beauty of this setup. So some of the pros, though, is it sounds great. I've been able to get better masters. I've compared some of the analog gear to, say, the plugins with some friends at other studios as well, and we found sometimes the analog gear will be better. And, you know, my Wes Audio stuff here that I got, this has digital recall. So these are connected to the computer, which is great. And the digital recall allows me to just open up my mastering sessions and everything loads on those two units. But the Clairphonic, however, does not have digital recall. That's where this plugin comes in. So as you can see, once you load it up, it's pretty simple. You get an add images button, you get a zoom, and you can add some notes right here. And all you need to do is, let's just drop in this image so you can see that I took a picture earlier today of a master. And boom, there it is. And so what this does is not only do I save this photo in my session folder, but I can just have this right in the DAW, so it's easy access. And I can move this around wherever I want. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. And you can load up more than one picture. You leave yourself notes. So for those of you analog hardware users looking for a solution, this is it. So once again, this is a quick video today. I apologize. I've been extremely busy with various projects for SGM events, sync licensing, NOS recordings, my own productions, and a lot of mastering jobs have been coming in. Thank you for all of your support. I'm going to have a member-only video to go along with this, talking about how you should select analog gear if you are thinking about getting an analog to digital hybrid setup similar to mine, what to look for, why you should pick your gear, and, you know, think about budgeting, because this stuff's not cheap. Unfortunately, it can be expensive, and you can get a lot done with plugins. This is just a bonus. I'm not saying that you have to have analog gear. Some of you might knock me for saying that. I will agree with you. Analog gear is nice to have. It does sound great. It sounds pristine. It's got a nice warmth, and I've got a lot of nice controls on these units that I didn't have before. So if you're interested in getting some mastering done, please do hit me up. In the meantime, if you like the music that's playing in the background, and remember, it's a new free download of mine, along with Lavelle Dupree. It's called Jump. You can find it on our SoundCloud. Links to that are all down below. It's on the Hyped It Top 100 right now. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking this video, leaving me a comment, and hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date. That bell notification will keep you up to date when I drop new videos. Thanks again for being a loyal supporter of the Distinct Mastering YouTube channel. My name is Freddie, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.